Epsilon level. And here's where it gets really rough. Epsilon mutants. These are the ones who, honestly, get the short end of the stick in every way. Physically, they're the ones you notice first. Extra fingers, weird skin textures, or some feature that just makes people stare and whisper. Imagine walking down the street with giant purple hands or monkey-like ears. Yeah, not exactly subtle. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of these traits look fascinating on paper, but in the heat of battle, most of these powers are almost useless. They don't really give you an advantage. In fact, sometimes they get in the way. So, a mutant with, say, gelatinous skin or a beak isn't exactly storming through enemy lines anytime soon. And here's the kicker. Society is brutal. If regular mutants get hate, Epsilons get it tenfold. People fear what they don't understand. And when you already look like a walking mutation, hiding isn't optional. It's survival. About 20% of all mutants fall into this category, and most would rather stay in the shadows than face the ridicule head-on. But even in all this struggle, there's a story here. Beak, Tommy, Meme, Derma. These are names that remind us that being a mutant isn't just about raw power. It's about navigating a world that doesn't accept you. Epsilons may be weak in combat, but they're survivors in a society that rarely gives them a chance. Makes you wonder, how would you cope if every glance felt like judgment? Delta level. And just when you thought things couldn't get any stranger, meet the Delta mutants. These guys don't look weird, at least not like Epsilons, and that's part of what makes them sneaky. Their powers are subtle, nothing that punches you in the face. Instead, they enhance personal traits like luck, intelligence, or the ability to predict events. On paper, it doesn't sound flashy, but in the right hands, deadly. Take Domino, for example. Her mutant ability lets her manipulate probabilities, basically making luck work in her favor. Alone, it doesn't topple mountains, but when she combines it with skill, training, and guns, she's unstoppable like you saw in Deadpool 2. That's the beauty of Delta mutants. Power isn't just raw strength, it's cleverness. Other names in this group include Callisto, Cypher, Forge, and Dr. Nemesis. Here's the thing. Because they mostly look normal, they face far less prejudice than Epsilons. They can blend in, watch society, and even take advantage of it. Delta mutants are about utility over brute force, about using brains and strategy to make an impact. It's subtle, it's tactical, and it's a reminder that sometimes being underestimated is the best weapon of all. Ever notice how the quiet ones always surprise you in the fight? That's Delta in action. Gamma level. And now things start to get really intense. The Gamma mutants. These are the ones who can pack a punch, but good luck trying to blend in at a crowded mall. Their mutations are significant, not monstrous like Epsilons, but definitely noticeable. Think of unique skin colors, tails, claws, or other features that make people stare. You can't exactly hide these traits, no matter how hard you try. But here's the twist. While their appearance makes them stand out, their abilities are anything but weak. Gammas are strong offensively and defensively, often matching beta and even alpha-level mutants in a fight. Nightcrawler's teleportation, Sabretooth's feral strength, Beast's intelligence and agility, Blob's sheer size and power, Mystique's shapeshifting, Blink's portals. These are all Gammas who can dominate when it counts. Their mutations give them an edge that's visible, unmistakable, and sometimes intimidating. Yet there's a cost. Because their traits are so noticeable, Gammas can't fully integrate into normal society. They'll never pass as ordinary people the way Alphas can. That tail, those claws, that blue skin, it's impossible to hide. So while they're powerful, they're also constantly on display, which can be a blessing or a curse depending on the situation. Gamma mutants are a fascinating balance. Raw power with unavoidable visibility. They remind us that sometimes strength comes with a spotlight you can't switch off. And honestly, watching one of these mutants in action, you feel the awe before you even realize the danger. Beta level. And just when you thought Gamma mutants were the full package, meet the Beta mutants. These are the raw, untamed powerhouses. They're strong, useful, dangerous even. But here's the catch. They don't have full control over their abilities. That's right. Sometimes their powers betray them at the worst possible moments. Take Wolverine, for example. His healing factor is insane. He can survive almost anything, but he can't control it fully. It kicks in when it wants, which means there's always a little chaos lurking beneath the surface. Gambit's kinetic energy? Same deal. Powerful, precise when trained, but minor details give him away. Quicksilver moves at insane speeds, but there's always that risk of drawing attention. And then there's Nyara, who's got the abilities but, like the rest, can't completely hide what she is. Unlike Gammas, Betas can sometimes blend in and hide their powers for a while, but minor traits will always betray them. A flash of black in their eyes, an involuntary burst of energy, a sudden healing that looks unnatural. Society sees them as strong, yes, but unpredictable, and that unpredictability makes people nervous. What makes Betas fascinating is that raw power and a touch of chaos make them unpredictable. They need training, skill, and experience to truly master themselves. And watching a beta mutant fight? It's thrilling because you never know exactly what's going to happen next. That unpredictability is their edge and their curse. Alpha level. And now we're stepping into the big leagues, the alpha mutants. These are the ones who have it all under control. Powers, strategy, even how they present themselves. Unlike gammas or betas, alphas can flip their abilities on and off like a switch. One moment, they're an ordinary person walking down the street. The next, they're a combat machine capable of incredible feats. That control? That's what sets them apart. Take Storm, for instance. She doesn't just summon lightning and storms. She decides exactly when, how, and where to use it. Emma Frost. Telepathy, diamond form, lethal and precise, activated only when she wants. Rogue started beta, struggling with her absorption powers, but through training and patience, she became an alpha, mastering abilities that once made her a danger to everyone around her. Cyclops is another interesting case. He can blast optic energy like a cannon, but needs a visor to control it. Not because he's weak, but because of a childhood accident. And then there's Professor Xavier, whose telepathy is so refined that he can manipulate minds, teach, and strategize all at once. Here's the thing. Alpha mutants aren't just powerful. They're tactical. They combine brute force, precision, and the ability to blend into society, making them elite operatives in the Marvel Universe. You don't just notice them, you feel their presence, even before they act. Alphas prove a key Marvel idea. Control amplifies power. It's not just about what you're born with. It's how you train, master, and use it. And honestly, watching an alpha in action, it's a mix of awe and fear. Because you realize the line between ordinary and extraordinary isn't just talent, it's mastery. Omega level. And finally, we reach the top tier, the Omega mutants. If alphas are elite, Omegas are untouchable. These are the beings whose powers don't just change the game, they can literally rewrite it. Energy, matter, space-time. Nothing is off limits. And the scariest part? Many Omegas start out looking just like alphas as kids. You wouldn't notice anything extraordinary until their true potential bursts out. Think about Magneto. His mastery over magnetism isn't just strong, it's absolute. There's no ceiling to what he can do with metal, and no one in the Marvel Universe comes close to matching him in his domain. Then there's Franklin Richards, who manipulates reality itself. Jean Grey with the Phoenix Force, reality warping power on a cosmic level. Nathan Summers, Rachel Summers, Hope Summers, Scarlet Witch. These aren't just characters, they're forces of nature. When an Omega hits their stride, what seems impossible becomes routine. And here's the kicker. Some mutants who start as alphas can evolve into Omegas. Magneto is the perfect example. Once a powerful alpha, later defined as an Omega-level mutant. It's all about unlocking that next tier of ability, reaching limits that seem incomprehensible. Omegas are the standard by which every other mutant is measured, the yardstick of ultimate power. But it's not just about raw destruction. Omegas embody the Marvel theme that potential is infinite, that power without mastery is just the beginning. They are the benchmark, the dream, and the nightmare rolled into one. Watching one in action isn't just awe-inspiring, it's a reminder of just how far a mutant can go when raw ability, control, and evolution collide. Omega mutants are more than characters. They're legends. They are untouchable in their specialties, the ultimate game changers, and the reason every other classification exists in relation to them. And honestly, if you ever get a glimpse of one using their full power, you'll understand why the Marvel Universe is never the same again.